YouTube, welcome back to episode 3 of Trade to the Top. Today we're just going to update the account and I want to show you guys a little bit about icon trading. I know I've shown it a lot on my social media, which is bringing up a lot of questions. Me and Bobblehead Foot, if you don't know him, did put out an icon trading guide. It's both on Twitter and my Instagram page. But I'm going to show you guys what it looks like kind of live and show you how Footbin pertains to that method and we can look through it together. If you're excited, make sure you smash that like button and let's get into it. Alright, so I told you guys that when we start this series each time, I'll give you an account update where we're at. It's been about a week since I last updated you guys. I'm going to go to Transfer Profit. You guys like to see that. Transfer Profit mostly pertains to money you make before tax, so it's not actual coins. Don't think that I have 10 million coins because it's not even close to that. My liquid coin total is approximately 6 million right now, but my transfer profit's around like 10.3. So it's been going really well. I've been trading icons a lot, been doing some meta card flipping, and I'll kind of show you guys how I'm getting into that stuff today. I know a lot of you guys are going to ask me how I got to this much transfer profit and coin total so quickly, but it's honestly been doing a lot of grinding and a lot of the methods that I've shown you previously. So that position change trading video I made, chemistry style trading, silver trading, that's how I worked up to a bigger budget. And then I made some investments that panned out as well. If I saw cards take a big dip, I invested in cards that I knew would rise pretty well. So I've been investing and trading throughout the week, but most of all, like, you guys have seen what I've been doing. And on top of that, I've been doing a lot of icon trading. I flipped probably 50 to 60 icons in the past week or so, and I feel really confident and comfortable teaching it as well as doing it. So I want to show you guys that today. What I want to do today is I want to go to icons on the market. I want to take a look at them. I want to tell you some cards I know off the top of my head and how they fluctuate throughout the day. And then we'll coordinate with Footbin and see what their graphs look like to see how you can best utilize that. So I'm going to go to the transfer market here. And I'm just going to go to icons. And actually we'll search a specific. We'll search Socrates. I have a couple of him right now on my transfer list. So I'm going to search him here. And 89 Socrates is a really, really great icon to trade with. Because what I noticed with Socrates is that he goes down to about 1 million coins throughout the day. And then he fluctuates all the way up to about 1.1 million coins. And I actually have a couple right now, like I said, and I bought them around 1 million coins. One exactly at 1 million and one at 999,000. As you see, comparatively to the transfer market here, I got in really cheap on him. So the cheapest one on the market right now is 1.094. I have him on my watch list already. I want to see if he sells. But again, I got mine at a low point of 999. It looks like this one has a bid on it. It's 1.07 here because it's 1.069 already has that bid. And this one has a bid on it as well, which is looking really good. If icons are getting bid up at that price, it means it's going to push up their buy now as well because more will come off the market. Now what I want to do is I want to go to Footbin and show you guys how I knew that was a good price and how you can use Footbin to help coordinate your trades. So I'm going to go to Footbin here. We're going to make sure we're on FIFA 20 players. I'm simply going to type in Socrates. I do want to get my dark mode on too. I really get blinded by the screen when it's like this. Here, get a little dark mode on. And then we'll go to Socrates. I've used Socrates on this game, by the way. He's pretty good, but I wouldn't pick him up again. I would rather use like someone like a Prime Zola over him. Prime Butraguena as well. Butragueno, he's really, really good. All the short, agile players seem to be better than those bigger players. They feel a little bit clunky on this game. So as a true cam, he's pretty good, but I still rather have those shorter guys like Zola and Del Piero. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down the Footbin here, and I'm going to look at his hourly graph. The daily graph isn't too important to me. I like to look at the past few days to kind of look at the trends we've been seeing. So I'm looking for yesterday's graph, and it said he got down to 1.029 as a buy now, which may or may not be true. I know in this situation that yesterday there was actually buy nows as low as 1 million flat. I saw that come on the market myself, but keep in mind that Footbin only takes recordings of it periodically, so it might even miss the lowest and highest price. As you can see here, it looks like it fluctuates from 1.029, which we know it went a little bit lower, all the way up to 1.077, which I also know it went a little bit higher than that. And then Sunday, looks like we're down to 1.015, that's a great example, and he might have even been undercut from there. And then he looks like he goes as high as 1.075, which again, he might sell a little bit higher, especially if the card is fresh. Fresh means that an icon in particular, or a card in general, hasn't had a game played on it. People love to track their statistics, and it's much easier to see when you're the first owner of the card. So if you pack a very expensive card, think about probably 1,000,000 coins plus. Do not play a game with it. As tempting as it might be, sell it. You can usually get around, I would say anywhere from 3 to 7% more for that card. So if they're fresh cards, if they're unused, they do sell higher. Now, what you should take away from this graph is two things. He does fluctuate close to 1,000,000 coins on the low end, and he fluctuates towards 1.1 million on the high end, which is great for trading. Another thing you should take away is that you have to watch them on the market. I personally know that I saw lower buy nows than 1.015 on the market, and that's really important because that leaves you an extra 15K of profit potentially if you get that at 1,000,000 instead of 1.015. I also know that I've seen them sell as high as 1.09, and that's more profit on the upper end. So what I do advise doing is using Footbin as a gauge and to try to coordinate some prices and know when they're at the low end and to keep an eye on them, but don't fully rely on it. I would watch the cards on the market, add icons to your watch list, and see what they sell at. I'm going to pop back over to the web app, and we're going to look at those Socrates here. So it looks like Socrates, again, is at that high end, and if he happens to sell here, who knows if Footbin will read this top price. I want to search and show you one more icon that I've used a lot, so I know the prices off the top of my head, which really does help, but I'll show you how Footbin looks for him. I'll show you what I've seen him get sold at and what you can essentially buy him at as well as of the last few days. So that card's going to be 90 Pirlo. Pirlo, both his cards move a lot, and that's simply because he's really in demand. A lot of these new icons are highly desirable and people want to try their cards, so they're bought a lot more frequently than some icons we've had in the past. And I'm going to be looking through Pirlo's page here because the servers were down a little bit ago, which affected the market, but it looks like his lowest buy now right now is around 920. Pretty frequently here, this Pirlo dips down into the upper 800s or even the mid 800s, which would be a buy price. So even this 880 has a bid right now, which means he's up on the higher end of his fluctuation. But I think at the right time, you can get this card for around 850 to 875. And I actually got him for 847 yesterday. We sold around 927, which was really good profit, but that was a low fluctuation for him. Now I want to hop over to Footbin like we did with Socrates, and we can look at how that appears here. So I'm going to type in Pirlo. He has two different cards. Of course, we'll click the mid icon, which he's very, very, very good in game. I seriously love this card. I think he's a little bit undervalued, even at like 850 to 900K. In my opinion, he should be like 1,000,000 coins because of how good he plays. He's like an optimal cam in my opinion because his passing and dribbling is so good. So let's look at his graph for the past few days. Perfect. So it looks like he does go down to 870 on the graph, which is what we were looking for because if the graph reads 870, not only may you get an undercut or a buy now going a little bit lower than that, say at like 860-ish, but you might be able to bid even cheaper. Maybe the buy now is listed at 875, but you can bid on it for 850 or 860. And then you see at the high end, he's all the way up at the mid 900s, which we kind of saw on the web app even right now. We'll look again Sunday. Again, looks like he reads at 880. If he reads at 880 and that's sitting on the market, people may undercut that, or you may have an opportunity to bid lower than that. And again, it looks like he sells at the mid 950s. So I have watched Pirlo on the market. I know that's relatively true. A 950-ish sell price has been a little bit high the past few days. It's been closer to like 920 or 930. But the buy now at like 860 to 880 is really accurate. You want to use those fluctuations to know when to buy those cards. And again, what I highly recommend is putting cards to your watch list to see what they're selling at. So if I go over to the web app, you'll see my watch list right now. My transfer target is basically all icons that I'm trading with or that I've had in my possession, and I want to see what they're selling at. So I know that Pirlo's on the upper end of his spectrum. He's got to be selling at least low 900s to maybe even mids because this 880 appears low right now. Sometimes these 800, 850 ones are sitting on the market for a bit, but since this one already has a bid out this far, 15 minutes, and this 850 one does as well, it tells me that people are looking to buy him, and they're looking to buy him in the upper 800s for sure. I would intentionally add these to my watch list to try to gauge what he's selling at. And then I want to show you guys one more thing, and we can go through it live. There are a lot of icons I still don't know the price of. I've memorized pretty much the 600k plus icons, or 700k plus for sure. But I'll show you guys what I do if I haven't. And of course you still want to watch them live, but if I'm using FootBin as an indicator, I'll show you how I try to figure out if they are in fact low. So I'm going to search here, and what I'm scrolling for is someone looking for with an open bid on them. I noticed right away that this Figo has a bid for 701,000. Let's compare his price here, and it looks like he's probably selling to me, my guess would be mid 700s, so I wouldn't bid on this because after tax, which you do lose 5% on, you wouldn't make a whole lot of profit. And now what I want to do is I want to go to FootBin and kind of see if that theory is right, because if he sells on average in the mid 700s, that's not a lot of profit. I'd prefer him to sell in the high 700s. And maybe if he did, I would have bid on it. But without knowing the price off the top of my head, I don't feel comfortable spending that much. I know I didn't even have that much available at the time, but sometimes it works like that. All right, here we're on Figo's page. I'm gonna scroll down, we're gonna look at his daily and hourly, just like we were doing on the other icons. And it looks like the top end of Figo's spectrum today was actually the lower 700s. We'll call it 720 on average. And then on Sunday, it got up to about 730. So that was a bad buy. I wouldn't make much profit on that after tax. So I would have just left it. And I'll scroll one more time. We're gonna try to find an example with an icon with a bid on him. That usually tells me that the price may be low if people are looking to pay for it. So it looks like this Hullet is selling for about low millions, so 1.038 it looks like is the lowest here. And this one's getting bid on for 1.016. Let's go to his graph and see if there's any profit there. To me, it doesn't look like it off the top of my head, but we'll take a peek on video to see how we determine that. Pulling up Hullet's babies card here. He's really, really good in game. I've used him, the baby icon, and I'm gonna go to yesterday, and it looks like he sells at a top end of the spectrum. I would say 1.04 would be accurate from what I'm seeing here, maybe 1.03 to be safe. So again, not a lot of profit there. It does look like that he dropped down all the way to the upper 900s, and you can maybe even get him lower than this, and that's where I would look to buy instead. I wouldn't buy now in the millions because again, after you sell a card for 1,000,000 coins, you lose 50,000 of that on tax. You have to be making sure you're getting really good profit there. I want to show you guys one more form of icon trading, which takes a lot more advanced knowledge and a lot more studying of the market because you need to memorize prices off the top of your head. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to bounce back over to the web app. We're going to go to the search page, okay? And we're going to go to icons, and I like to set my minimum for this at 600,000 because for me, I trade mostly with icons above 600,000 coins, so I like to specify it in that range. For max, you can do like 15 million, something really high. It helps you search a little bit. So I'm gonna search here. And then essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to get to the 59th minute. And what I mean by that is you wanna look for icons that were just listed to see if someone either undercut really low or maybe someone didn't know their price and they listed incorrectly. So you're scrolling to get to that 59th minute really quick. And now we're here. From what I see here, I don't see any great deals off the top of my head, but that's when they pop up. And you have to be ready to buy now as fast as possible because that person probably listed incorrectly and there might be multiple people doing this method. So you can start memorizing prices, get to that 59th minute and snipe the card. But it's really not a true snipe because you're not on an individual card. You're mostly just scrolling and looking for a cheap undercut or something that you know is going to be profitable. And that's how you do that. It's really simple. You can also start to do that by narrowing it down. Some people I've seen what they do is they do actually attackers, and they do attackers more than 600,000. That's a lot less memorization of prices than doing all of them. Start small if this is something that interests you. I always reset my search, and then we'll just press next. And here we go, we're at the 59th minute. Again, I don't see anything profitable, but people that are doing this are repeating this process really, really often, and they're looking for deals that can make them 20, 30, 40, 50,000. And sometimes if you get really lucky, maybe 100,000 plus on a card if it was a bad listing. So that's essentially how you icon trade. It's all about knowing the prices, watching them on the market, and then knowing their fluctuations and how they work with FootBin. I hope this video helped you gain an understanding of icon trading, and I hope that it encouraged you guys to try it and be more confident trading in it. It really is profitable, and I enjoy it a lot. You can make pretty quick coins doing it if you pick up a few icons at a time and then do some lower budget stuff with it. If you liked the video today, please show it some support and some love. Comment down below if you've tried icon trading or you're gonna try it after this video, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.